Okay, this is gonna be one of those sort of. I'm just too lazy to have to make two different videos, so I'd rather just combine them into one, and maybe it'll work together, or it may be just two separate, and maybe it won't. But anyway, the end of liberalism and recognizing the difference between orgs on the top versus on the bottom. These are very important takeaways that I think are going to be important in the coming years. What is being fought now, I think, is ultimately the idea of liberalism, the idea of a free market, being able to purchase what you want, um, and having the freedom to live life the way you want to, right? That's the whole, that's kind of the rough idea of it. The fact is, though, is that it is that liberalism has been able to adapt itself and maybe make itself into social democracy, make it into, maybe sort of like communism light or whatever. Like I say, liberalism has been adaptive because you can still purchase shit easily. You can still go on Amazon or whatever the case may be, or the internet. And I think once that ends and you go back to more of an old school sort of general store sort of, you didn't leave, what you didn't live within, or you didn't really leave uh, the place that you were born at out of 60 miles. Yeah, you didn't live 60 miles past where you were born. That's what I was saying. But I think that sort of mentality and that sort of lifestyle will come back. Now, mind you, I was born in Tacoma, Washington, and now I live probably what? I mean, I don't want to overtake, but maybe a few 100,000 miles. I mean, or just a few thousand miles away, down in Texas. But I think it's important to realize that, and like I say, I'm trying to give some sympathy here, and I'm trying to be more, uh, at least to a point, reach out more olive branches instead of just saying, F this, F that. Like I say, I mean, that can be dangerous, because obviously there are bad intentions out there. So you have to kind of play it by ear. But, and you can feel that what I'm saying is wrong, this and that, that's fine. But anywho, realizing, for example, that you can criticize the idea of Freemasonry, but realize that your local lodge is not necessarily connected to what goes on in Hollywood or whatever the case may be with the one eye covered and all that other stuff. Realizing that and realizing that, like I said, I mean, Oddfellows, like I said, that's more of a Midwestern thing, in my opinion. Haven't seen it down south. Freemasonry, that's pretty much everywhere. But I'm willing to at least put a small olive branch out and be like, maybe Freemasons aren't as bad as has been said. I'll put it that way. Boy, I'm really kind of going off the edge here. But anyway, I'll try to wrap this up fairly soon. But I think that what we realize right now is the fight between continuing sort of where we can just keep consuming and basically going back to more of a smaller sort of localist mentality. Like I say, I don't live in the fantasy that it's just going to magically happen overnight. This is going to take generations. We're talking, you know, 200, 300, 400 years. And it's definitely not going to happen in my lifetime. But I think the steps will be made and, just slowly but surely will occur. It's just like, for example, with the way this system works, is that it wasn't just overnight that, wow, suddenly, Eisenhower created, highways and suddenly we had, high-speed internet or whatever. It took time. And of course, even still to this day, these things break down fairly regularly and easily. And so realize this system is not invincible, and realize also that it won't be the easiest time of it. I'll put it that way. This is one of those where there's a lot of dead air, so I apologize. Even if it's maybe I'll make it 6 minutes long, but just realize that the end of liberalism is not the end of everything, but it's simply, to a point, it's returning to tradition. But I also think that it will be a return to, maybe feel as you want to about this term, and I'm not necessarily going to praise it, but mercantilism, the prelude to liberalism. Mercantilism, still exists, obviously, but it kind of welded itself and, kind of snaked itself around each other in kind of like a screw sort of pattern to create liberalism as we know it. So I think that's all I have to say on that. This wasn't as descriptive as I thought, but I think I put a video out. So anyway, hopefully y'all enjoyed that. See you later. Goodbye.